Buccaneers quarterback Baker Mayfield left the field at Raymond James Stadium dejected after Tampa fell to the Commanders 23-20 to end their playoff run as quickly as it started. The agony of defeat for Mayfield likely felt a bit harsher after his fourth-quarter fumble changed the course of the NFC wildcard round game for the Buccaneers, setting up a go-ahead touchdown for the Commanders and helping to set the stage for the game-winning field goal that would come later in the quarter on Sunday night. "It comes back to me," Mayfield told reporters after the game about the fumble. "Just timing it out correctly. First one all year that happened on. Obviously, timing on it, not great. Being back up. Defense did just a hell of a job just getting us the ball. Another fourth down stop, and unfortunate, but that fumble falls on me." The fumble came 4 plays after Tampa Bay stopped Washington on 4th and goal from the 3-yard line. On a 1st and 10 on their own 15-yard line, Mayfield went for what appeared to be a play action, but instead fumbled the ball as Jalen McMillan came across for the fake handoff. The ball ended up flying out of Mayfield's hands and onto the ground, creating a mad scramble for it and ending with the Commanders' Bobby Wagner coming away with possession at the Tampa Bay 13-yard line. The Bucs had led 17-13 at the time of the error, and it took Washington 4 plays to find the end zone and take a 20-17 lead with 9:46 left in the game. Broadcast footage later showed Mayfield on the sideline, taking ownership of the error on the fumble. The Buccaneers did go down the field on their following possession to tie the score at 20 off a 32-yard field goal by Chase McLaughlin. However, with nearly 5 minutes left on the clock, the Bucs gave the Commanders another chance with the ball, and Washington took full advantage.